Skelter again.
Me and Cube are doing an album, and it's not entitled NWE, you know, to clear that rumor up. The name of the album is called Helter Skelter. We've already did the first song, and it's incredible. It's about the best.
There are two things that are absolute facts when it comes to hip-hop. Fact number one, when an artist works with Dr. Dre's signature sound that's rooted in perfection and precision, that artist reaches their peak not only sonically, but also vocally. Dr. Dre always finds a way to bring the best out of any artist that he works with. Fact number two, when Ice Cube rhymes over A1 top-tier beats, he sounds just as good as anyone who's ever rhymed. Cube has a way to illustrate his lyrics where it's so crystal clear, you almost have a first-person view to his pen and his pad inside the studio session when he laid the rhymes. This is the story of Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. These two were set out to drop a collab album called Helter Skelter, which may have changed everything and also taken the West Coast to another level. Cube and Dre have a long history together. Cube and Dre would be a part of the most notorious hip-hop group of all time, NWA. Just 1 year after the group released their debut album, Ice Cube decided to leave NWA over contract and royalty disputes. Just a short time after, NWA would start to throw subliminal disses at Ice Cube, and then in 1991, they would launch a full-scale attack dissing their former group member. Ice Cube is now a solo artist and fully away from everybody in the NWA camp. He would finally return fire towards NWA on his second solo album, Death Certificate, in 1991. Just like Ice Cube left NWA a few years prior, Dr. Dre would do the same. But this time, instead of Dr. Dre signing to a label, Dr. Dre decided to start his own record label, Death Row Records, and start his solo career. In 1992, NW fans would get a huge surprise. On Dr. Dre's second single to his debut album, The Chronic, Ice Cube would make a short cameo appearance in Dre's video for Let Me Ride. Even though Cube isn't on the Chronic album, this gives fans the hope that maybe they will reconnect in the studio at some point. In 1993, the biggest news that would excite hip-hop fans everywhere would show up on Snoop Dogg's debut album, Doggy Style. For the millions of people who purchased Snoop's album, inside of the booklet it mentioned an upcoming Death Row release. One of those releases was confirmed was an Ice Cube and Dr. Dre collaboration album titled Helter Skelter.
Let me see. No, actually, I'm just getting ready to put full steam ahead on the Helter Skelter project.
Right.
You know.
When can we look forward to that, though? Because I want to hear something. You know what I'm saying? You and
Good
Cube
question.
together. You and Cube together. That's slamming.
Yeah, probably next year sometime.
Next year sometime.
Next summer.
Yo.
In 1994, the Murder Was the Case soundtrack will release, and hip-hop fans would have something that they've been waiting for.
Yeah, Natural Born Killers.
Now, what's the concept for that? How did y'all hook up with that one?
Well, actually, I just had this track here, and called Cube. I was like, yo, got this track, come over and spit something on it, you know? And he was like, yo, bam, here.
At first, he just had me doing a break.
That's it?
Yeah, and
I didn't want to bring that up.
you know, he had me doing a break. And I was in there like, damn, I'm just doing a break.
That's messed up, man. I got more to say. And he was going to give
hell
you
of
the
a lot
break.
more to say. So, you know, he called me a couple of days later and said, man, why don't you write some lyrics and do a verse to us? So I said, hey. Yeah, Natural Born Killers.
Now, what's the concept for that? How did y'all hook up with that one?
Well, actually, I just had this track here, and called Cube. I was like, yo, got this track, come over and spit something on it, you know? He was like, yo, bam, here.
At first, he just had me doing a break.
That's it.
Yeah, and
I didn't want to bring that up.
Dre and Cube will release a video for a song they completed together called Natural Born Killers. This song would cause an earthquake in hip-hop. The beat is one of Dr. Dre's best beats he's ever made. The song, the hook, the video is sinister. It's like a hardcore rock rap song. This song would put the industry on notice that the two titans were going full steam ahead with their previously mentioned group album.
It's called You Don't Want to See Me. The title of the album is going to be Helter Skelter. And hopefully it'll be out by next summer.
Why you call it Helter Skelter, man? What's that all about?
I know people going to think it relates to Charles Manson and all that, but Helter Skelter means things that happen for no apparent rhyme or reason. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a fat album. Funky. Fat. Yo.
In 1995, Cube and Dre would come together again, not as a group, but Dre would drop a single off of Cube's feature film soundtrack for the movie Friday. At this point, momentum is really starting to build for Cube and Dre working together. In 1996, things would start to get a little turbulent. The DOC, which is a longtime collaborator with not only NWA, but also Dr. Dre, he would decide to release his second album, but under the title Helter Skelter in early 1996, which is the same name for the Cube and Dr. Dre group album. The DOC felt that he never really got his full credit for all the things he did for not only NWA, but for also Dr. Dre. Also in 1996, Dr. Dre decides to leave Death Row Records, but now he's actually going to be starting a new label called Aftermath Entertainment. Now around the same time, Ice Cube decides to join and create his own supergroup with fellow West Coast veteran Dub C and his protege Mac 10 called Westside Connection. The very next year, hip-hop fans were still holding on to faith that the Cube and Dr. Dre album would eventually drop soon. Even though the album was a year overdue, Cube and Dr. Dre would appear together on Scarface's classic album The Untouchable on the very last track called Game Over. A few years later, hip-hop fans would get one of the biggest tours in hip-hop history, the Up in Smoke tour, which would unite Cube and Dre again performing together on the same stage. Fans would also get some major news that an NWA reunion album was slated to come out soon. Dre and Cube would reappear in the year 2000 on Cube's double album War and Peace on the lead track single Hello. Cube would go on to say that two of the biggest masterminds in West Coast hip hop are together again. I think that's something exciting. Me signing to Aftermath was something that was kind of in the back of our minds for a while. In 2003, Ice Cube would drop some news about a collaboration album, but not with Dr. Dre rapping with Cube, but Dr. Dre producing an entire Ice Cube album. This was also a very busy time for Ice Cube. This is a point in his career where he's dropping films every single year and also playing a lead role in films. In 2010, Cube was asked in an interview about what happened with the Cube and Dr. Dre album, how come it never released. Cube would say that it was a lot going on for Dr. Dre. Once Eminem released in 1998, Dre had to manage this bigger-than-life MC. After that, 50 Cent came, and then after that, The Game was right up next. So a Dre and Cube album wasn't really in the cards. Even though hip-hop fans never got the Helter Skelter album from Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, fans still got a lot of classic albums between both artists and a lot of classic moments. One thing about collaboration albums, if you truly follow hip hop, no matter who it is, the stars always have to be aligned.